Hey everyone, this is episode 439 of the OotiniCast, being recorded on the 10th of May 2022. And let me go ahead and get some things ready. We get going with the actual podcast here in a couple of minutes. Right now, this is just the raw version of the show, shown with all flubs and blurbs and blibs and flubs and flabs and all that good stuff. And then we clean it up and we put it out as an audio podcast tomorrow. And this raw version is being streamed on twitch.tv/OotiniCast. We will also put out the final version on YouTube. We got a couple minutes here before the actual show, but we are just about ready to go. And, alright, let me make sure everything else is looking good. Audacity's still rolling. It looks like the stream's looking okay. I see KittyKissz and Smooth Wolf. Looks like we're good to go.
Checking, check. Okay. That looks good. Boop.
All right. La la la. Hey, Deck. Chillin'.
Hey, Deck.
Chillin' Viana.
I'm sure it's some sort of reference to
I don't know
what
what.
We'll talk about in a little bit.
Ah, okay. All right. Let's see. Ooh, I just looked ahead on your notes. Looks like you've got a nice stream coming. That'll be good.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that on the actual show. Yeah, Deck stumped me too, Smooth. All right, so it looks like tip of the week is in position. All right.
Vienna sausages.
Are you good?
I'm good.
All right, then I say we go. Let's see. Well, actually, let me double check. Oh yeah, we have a minute, and I haven't tweeted it out. So let me tweet it out real quick.
Oh crap! I got to tweet now too.
All right.
I'm such a copycat. It is for tweeting. And
gosh darn it. It's so funny.
What'd you do?
Well, I added, I'm trying to learn French.
Oh, right.
As a second language, and it's going reasonably well, I guess. But on my phone, I added a French keyboard, and so sometimes when I swap between them, sometimes it goes to the French one, which I'm not expecting. I don't really use it that much, especially not when I'm doing something in English. Yeah, exactly. It's good for if I need to actually do something with like an accent or whatever, but it's also like different layout, like all the letters are different, so
right.
So I end up and I'm a touch typist, so I usually go like several letters before I realize it's not the right keyboard, and then I have to back it up. So it's all good. All right, you're still good to go, Kitty?
I am ready, Freddy.
All right, going in 5. Actually, let me pull my... Yeah, that's a little better.
Get your seatbelt on.
Exactly. Strap in.
Everyone, get ready. Strap in.
Sounds like the...
Tom Kane.
Yeah, for a second there, though, it reminded me of the Justice League announcer.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice. Yeah, exactly. All right, go in 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast, the podcast whose sand rot is being tended to by Darth Nurse. This is episode 439, being recorded on Tuesday, May the 10th, 2022. I'm your host, Chill, and with me is my co-host, KittyKissz. And Kitty, let's see, well, the sand rot really got you last time, so how are your lungs doing? And tell us what you've been up to. Oh, can't hear you. You're silent again.
Hello. Okay,
Hey,
there
there
we
you
go.
go.
The last 2 weeks have been, well, the last week in particular was crap.
Right.
As you know, we're putting together our new setup for our dual stream.
Yeah.
And a bunch of tables came, and I got really excited and decided to, set it all up. But I had to pull a bunch of carpet. So, and I had masks on,
Okay.
or I had masks, and then I forgot because I was so excited.
Oh.
And there is a bunch of debris underneath the carpet that's 25, 30 years old.
Yeah.
And, those particles got into my lungs.
Yeah.
And I also painted because,
okay.
there were places that I hadn't been able to paint in
Right.
forever. So I decided to just get in there and paint it. And I used this paint called Dry Lock, which is it's very toxic. You need to be wearing mask.
And you forgot them too?
And I forgot the mask. No. And so right after
you made a gesture like you were wearing it around your neck?
I had it on my neck.
Oh, no.
And then I had another actual little respirator mask.
Right.
But I was so stoked. I was having so much fun. And I just completely forgot. And I think that
that's brutal.
Went into my lungs. I'm asthmatic. And I think it lowered my immune system, and I got a really, really bad cold. It wasn't COVID.
Right.
In total, I tested 3 times negative for COVID.
Yeah.
And Kitty tested negative as well. But
that's good.
Man, it knocked me on my butt.
Yeah.
It was no fun. Yeah, I had to call. I just remember being like, I can't do the stream because I can't. I can't talk.
Right. And and then you didn't stream for not just for the last OotiniCast, but for like a week after that about.
Yeah.
That was nasty. So, oof.
Yeah, I didn't stream for a week. That sucked.
Yeah.
And I think that I have, in my boredom in the last week and some days, I think I've touched about 90% of the internet, and I'm officially bored of the internet now. I know everything about Steven Seagal's shenanigans. And I've been enjoying lots of flat earth debunking videos.
Nice.
And science, lots of science debates.
Oh, that's fun.
And different things like that. But
there's some amazing stuff going on right now.
Oh yeah.
Science-wise.
Richard Dawkins. Lots of Richard Dawkins.
Oh, okay, yeah. He can be fun.
Yeah. And so that sucked. And we finally felt good enough to do the stream for this weekend. So we did did a dual stream with Kitty Y'all on the weekend, which was great. And it was great to be back. And ended up getting leveling up some of my crafters, because I have a sneaky suspicion that our crafters might need to be level 80 in order to get to the next phase. So
maybe
I leveled up. Yeah, that's nothing I've heard or anything. That's just me being a gamer and my senses are tingling. So.
Right. It's never been a thing before, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have to be now. I mean, it's
right.
They could do that as a way to sort of gate how fast and hard the crafting comes. Like like my banking ult is like 76. She just got capped because of 6.0. She got experience, from just being the first one I logged on to every day, essentially. And she long since capped out. And but she's never gotten to 80, and I could get her to 80, obviously, but it would take some doing, and some other people must, have sort of similar situations.
Well, especially with the double XP, and I had to run a couple dailies, so I got up there pretty quick, pretty fast. But I just kept thinking in my head, what if some of the mats are dropped in that high level, the high level content, like they did on Nathema? You could only get those top tier mats by running the Nathema conspiracy and stuff like that. So did that. That was fun. And what else? I spent a lot of my cartel coins. I'd just been accruing a bunch of cartel coins from Galactic Seasons. I bought some cartel coins a while ago, and then your bonus cartel coins that you get.
Yeah, from season 2.
From all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which ended up being like 11,000.
Nice.
Which is a nice chunk for me. That's
Yeah.
like a real nice chunk for me to have. And I spent it all on unlocks. I spent it all. I think
it's easy
I have
to
like
do.
400 left, but I got the important things that I needed.
Wow.
I didn't want it. I needed it. It needed to happen. I needed to have it unlocked, and so I did. But so now it's saving up till the next unlock. What is that going to be? Maybe Christmas time, something.
Possibly, yeah. There's often one towards the end of the year, so
blow all my money on that.
And then they have had other ones mid-year, but of course this is mid-year kind of. So maybe they've done them around like the nightlife event and stuff like that. They've done them in a couple of other sort of oddball middle of the year sort of periods of time, and but we'll have to see.
Well, and I know that because it's the 10th anniversary and they're going to be dropping stuff all year, I wouldn't be surprised if they, sprinkled some on, now and again throughout the year so people could catch up if they wanted to, But what else? Let's see. Oh, Kitty and myself are going to be doing a 12-hour stream on June 4th.
All right.
For my
June 4th.
51st birthday.
Hey, happy birthday in advance, actually. But
thank
hey,
you,
it's all good.
Thank you. We're going to be geriatric at the same time.
Yeah.
We'd like to welcome you to the OotiniCast.
OotiniCast. The podcast that's gumming its food.
That's right. The podcast. I couldn't think of anything funny. Anyway, so that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. And that's coming up very soon, I'm sure, as time seems to be going much more fast than it ever has in my life. Or at least it seems to be, I guess, right?
Right. Yeah. I've been trying to make money off of crafting myself, so I think you've been smart to be thinking about like your crafters and whether they're end game or not, because a lot of mine aren't. Most of them are 75 though, because of 6.0 and before, getting XP through Conquest. It just happened. Like I don't think I even focused for the most part on them. They just sort of like whatever level they were at before. Some of them were either in the 50s from like well back, and then they just sort of slowly gained experience once that Conquest stuff, started giving experience for, well, especially for 6.0, but I think you're getting experience even before that a little bit. Anyway.
You're pretty diligent about that. You would log on. I would see you log on. There's Chill.
Yep, and there he goes.
There he goes.
There's
that.
Yeah.
There he goes.
I do that at the beginning of the day usually. That's the fit. I do that off stream and like kind of get that out of the way. And And recently, like I've been doing the tip we've talked about a few episodes ago, where I do have characters on all the servers and I log in and get the daily login rewards, so that I can advance the season 2 seasons, so that we can get some mostly cartel coins, but hopefully some. I'm hoping that we'll also be able to get some of the like the old vehicle armor weapons sort of sets, and then maybe get some unlocks that way potentially, using cartel coins for the other servers. So
some of the decos that aren't old school decos being reintroduced are great. I love that they give you like 5 or 10 of them.
That is cool too. Yeah,
I like that a lot.
If it's a gold, you usually only get one, but sometimes if they're bronze, you get like 3 different ones, and then you get like you say, several of each. Even if it's gold, really cool. I just opened one today, and it was a gold one, but I got 4 of them. So I opened one, and I'm going to decide, okay, I'm going to wait for the timer to run out, and I might unlock a second one. Sometimes I do that, or I might sell them or whatever. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, though. It was really cool looking. Oh, yeah, it was, I don't remember the exact name, but it's like one of the creepy statues, and I know that there's variations on them because there's all sort of Emperor or like Dread Master or whatever related. These are the ones it's not the Ancient Slave or that one. It's the one with like the purple marks going, like glowing purple bits going down its chest.
Diamonds almost, right?
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Where did we see that?
I saw it.
I know exactly
just the other day. I saw it the other day in the Nathema chapter, so at least one's there. But where else they are, I don't know. I mean, it's very emperor oriented, but other than that,
it is very
other than that, I can't tell you exactly where they are. But definitely there is one in the Anathema chapter. It's like on a corner. You have to kind of look up though. It's like you wouldn't necessarily notice it, but it's kind of like, yeah, if you look up, it's like hovering over you. It's really awesome. So,
and I got this.
Okay, what am I looking at? Oh gosh! That your chair says "Kitty Kisses." That's is right. Cool. I thought you were pointing at the background there for a second.
I got patches made, so.
Oh, that's cool.
One of the giveaways that we're going to be giving away is a size medium Levi jacket with KittyKiss's patches on it.
Nice.
So, it's going to be fun. Another thing. Now, this is kind of why my life has been a little crazy. Last week, I was sick all week long.
Yeah.
So sick that it was hard to play the game. I'd log in for like 10 minutes and just be like, then log out.
Right.
But, and then knowing that this week I had an appointment to have a procedure done.
Okay.
And yesterday I went in and did what I think is probably the most adult thing I've ever done in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And that is I got a vasectomy.
Hey, congratulations.
And I feel great. I haven't
Excellent.
had any pain or anything yet. So
wow,
that's good.
That's really wonderful. Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, I still think that, the other foot's going to drop and I'm going to feel like I got, kicked in the nuts by Macho Man Randy Savage. But so far, nothing. So,
okay. Yeah, I did the same thing a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It went well as well. And I've talked about it on Cryptobiography a little bit. But yeah, you just do basically what they recommend and you should be fine. Like, obviously you're sitting up right now, but try to, just try to keep pressure off the area as much as possible.
Oh yeah.
And it really doesn't take long though before there's like nothing to worry about. Like it's literally just, after a couple of days, it's just the little bit of incision that continues to heal and you're pretty much fine, So yeah. Wow. That's great. Yeah, congratulations.
I'm super stoked. I have many pairs of very tight underwear as recommended.
Okay.
I bought my first jock strap. I'm wearing it right now.
Okay.
And also, now this is cool for any gentlemen out there that are thinking about having the procedure done. They make underwear that are really tight because you're supposed to keep the boys, nice and close.
Right.
But it actually has its own ice pack that you pop in. Comes with 2 packs. You keep one in the fridge and then you just slide one down. It's like a little pouch, but it's perfectly designed to
to do that without
to cool down that area, and it's
that
great.
Sounds
I haven't
smart.
had to use it yet, but I'm gonna. They're called undies. Is what Kitty Tree said.
Undies nuts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, gentlemen, if you're thinking about it, I would recommend it. Yeah. Don't believe the hype.
Right. It's absolutely. They're mostly reversible. I mean, my doctor did it. I knew I would never want it reversed, so my doctor was like, "That's fine." And basically, don't have to have it reversed. They even have like modern versions where you can actually like turn it off and on. It's like it's literally a
toggle switch.
Like a little toggle switch inside you.
Oh, I was joking. Really?
No, they absolutely, yeah.
Holy crap!
But
I live in the future.
Yeah, I would be paranoid that I would be like, have it in the wrong setting. Yeah. I'm always paranoid that I'm going to, hit the wrong button on my computer and, let
right.
alone get someone. Right. Exactly. Yeah. I wanted mine to be brainless. So yeah, I just went for the permanent one, it's potentially reversible, but I don't care. I just, the permanent one, let's call it.
Yeah. Kitty watched the entire procedure.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, she was in there.
I wasn't able to watch mine because there's a little curtain, but I had my doctor actually describe it to me, which I think he said he'd done like 9,500 at that point. Like I was really happy to have a doctor who had like done a ton of them.
Yeah.
Because he was like older than I am, and he's been a urologist his whole life, so he'd done like a billion of them. And and I think I was like one of the only ones who had ever like asked to be like described everything that he did in step by step. I thought it was
Nice.
interesting.
It
Yeah.
is very interesting.
Oh, that's cool. Kitty Treat
yeah.
says you got to hold the piece of vase that got removed, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't get to touch mine. He's I think he said, you know, and this is considered waste, and I cannot do, you know, boop, and it just
Right.
went away. It was interesting though, a little white tube basically.
Mm-hmm. I sent mine to Dekion. You should be getting it tomorrow.
Make sure to send the other one to Marcus.
Yeah, but when it was over, I slept 18 hours yesterday. I was just like, when I got home, I was like, bonk, I was out completely.
Yeah, a little combination of the numbing drugs, and then also your body is healing, and it's funny because like your body knows that like something has to be like healed, and it definitely like puts a lot of effort into it. Like I felt really kind of wiped out the next couple of days too. I felt fine, like I wasn't feeling badly in any way, but but it knocks a little wind out of you for sure.
Oh, it does, yeah. We were talking, you know, you're just making chit chat with your doctor while the procedure's going on. He's like, so what do you guys do? And we said we were streamers, and he is a gamer.
Oh, cool.
And so we talked about games the entire time the procedure was going on, and it just seemed like it went, I mean, I think it was only like 20 minutes long, but it seemed like it went really, really quick. So, yeah, he was a funny guy too. We were cracking jokes, and he was cracking jokes, and it was
you have to have a sense of humor if you're a urologist. I think
you do. So we're gonna send him and his crew a bunch of dong and ball voodoo donuts for their team. In the next like week or so. Yeah.
That's funny.
Kind of like, hey, thank you. You guys are great. So they're gonna get that. But as far as me, I think that's about it for me.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that was plenty. That's great.
Too much information.
No. You know, who am I to say? All right. Let's see. Let's get to. Let's see, in the chat room, let's see, we got, they changed, and they changed it, so I don't know if this is everyone, but it's showing Bo Froley, Boy Scout, DL Smooth Wolf is here, Deck is here, 510 High, Kitty Treats is here, which, as we mentioned, Mikey likes it, Mogul Mail, N7, Sergeant America, TTV, Squishy Twitchy, and Starry Saber all show up here, and I'm sure there's other folks who aren't showing, because Twitch is very weird, and they've been changing some things lately, and I'm not sure how I think about them, but we'll go with it. Anyway, so thanks everyone, and let's see what I've been doing the last couple weeks. Just having fun with different characters. I made a pacifist commando healer before. Now I also have a pacifist sorcerer healer. A sorcerer abilities, but doing the consular storyline. So I guess you could call her a consular more than but you know, using the sorcerer abilities.
So by pacifist is that you're not going to do any attacking?
Right. The companion has to do all the damage. So, cool. And for the most part, I haven't had any problems with like stories taking away the companion or whatever. I've been able to work around that. That hasn't happened really at all. I know that, you know, if you get to Kotfi chapter 1, they take away your companion for like most of that chapter, and I'd never be able to do that. But I'm not too worried about that. I'm just doing like class story, and we're going to just kind of learn how the spec works and stuff like that, and kind of compare and contrast. I don't really have a healing main for this expansion yet, so it's also a way to sort of test and see. It's definitely my third. I mean, I'm more of a tank, and then I do a fair bit of DPSing. I'm not much of a healer, but I always feel like it's good to be able to understand them, and also just to be able to step in. Like, you know, if the healers are sick, you know, it's kind of sucks if your group has to say it's a no-go because like no one has a healer. So they're not.
It does make you a better player too.
I think so.
Learning to tank and learning to heal, you really, really play DPS different.
Yeah, and doing this pacifist thing is actually really fun because you play it a whole different way, because you're just focused on mostly healing your companion, and then when you draw aggro, you can line of sight them, you know, like you can run around objects and stuff like that, and like try to avoid taking damage that way. You know, you can tell your companion to change their target to attack different people, and it's a very relaxing way to play because you're not focused on doing like one action every global. You know, it's especially at low levels when you really don't have a whole lot of abilities available to you anyway. It's an oddly relaxing way to play SWTOR, where you just get to have your companion do all the damage, and yeah, you sit back and make sure they stay healthy, and as long as you stay alive, you're good to go. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, it's actually kind of fun. So far, like I said, I've done that as well. Years ago, I did it as a smuggler. Like, it's something I tried years ago. I found though that because I was just stealthing through a lot of the fights, obviously there's some fights you don't get to stealth through and whatever, and you do get a chance to practice. But that's more like you can easily avoid fights, let's say. With both of these specs, I cannot avoid fights. And so I'm learning both of these specs. I'm finding that Sorcerer Sage healing, at least at lower levels, is a lot more interesting because the commando is very direct heal focused. There's no shielding. There's really no HOTS early on in the commando one. You get one way later. Heal over time.
Oh, okay.
It's like dots, only HOTS. There's no shielding. There's no HOTS. It's all direct healing, basically, of various kinds. Some of them are hard casts. There's a couple. There's a little instant casting going on, but yeah, it's very much direct heals all the time, especially at low levels. Like I say, with Sorcerer Sage, even at low levels, it's pretty interesting because you get your shield, which you can place on yourself or others. That has then you can't cast them on it again for a little while, but
right.
But you also have 2 different types of direct heals, and you have a heal plus hot. So you have it's an instant, and it does a little upfront healing, and then it gives a hot over time, heal over time. And that ability, the one with the hot on it, also buffs your other abilities. So if you hot and then you do your long cast, it makes that cast shorter. If you do that one and then you do your short cast, it makes it crit almost all the time. It's like plus 60% crit, which is almost like a guaranteed crit. And so and then you got later, not too later on, but like around level 30, you get a sort of a channel heal. And what that one gets improved as is the ticks. That also is like a crit thing, but it's like 25% crit per chance, per tick. And so it's already sort of a more interesting spec at low levels because, you're shielding, but then if they're not topped up, you throw the little hot heal on them, but that buffs up your next ability. So then you decide, am I going to do it, the channel, or am I going to, do the big heal and just make it faster or whatever. So, yeah, so there's a lot more to it. Also, oddly, the shield doesn't seem to do any threat. I always thought in my head that shielding would do healing threat. It doesn't seem to do any sort of healing threat. I've tried different things. I've put shields on right before combat. I've put them on like right at the beginning, like sending him in and then shielding him as he's getting attacked, which means, the people that he didn't directly attack should turn on me if there's healing threat. No, it doesn't seem to do that. So, yeah, it's like which also kind of makes it more interesting if you're just doing this sort of pacifist healing thing, because that way you can kind of play around with threat as well, because then shielding also becomes a threat mechanism. It's like, okay, I'll throw the shield on, but that won't cause any threat, so then then I can shield myself, and if I get attacked maybe for whatever reason, then I can shield myself, which doesn't do any additional threat, and then I can worry about stuff. Anyway, so yeah, having a lot of fun with those characters.
Fun.
Yeah, it's and like I said, it's super relaxing. It's a very laid back way to play the game. Slower, obviously. You're just doing damage to the companion, but fun. Yeah.
Well, one of these times that Kitty and I, our next playthrough characters are going to be, she's going to be a tank and I'm going to be a healer.
Okay.
So that makes me like really excited.
Yeah.
Talking about it, I'm like, ooh, I can't wait. Can't wait. That sounds fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you going to have companions out as well, or do you put companions away? Okay.
We'll probably
so they'll be
they'll
be damaged, presumably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that totally works. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. Right. I've also been picking away at getting my 2 tanking mains. They're now both level 80. They've got a set of gear, but whenever I have a main, I always like to go all the way through the story so they get all their choices and all their story scene and all that stuff. Both of them have a long ways to go. Corbin is nearing the end of Kotet. He did like, the party chapter. He did Anathema. He just has the last 2 chapters to go. And then Lilu is about to go to Yavin, I think. Or maybe did the first bit of Yavin. That was a few days ago. So, but I'm trying not to like do like tons on them every day now, because like they're already level 80. They can do what I need them to do, which is, go to an operation or a flashpoint with the guild or whatever, if we need to, or or anything I want to do that's end game I can now do on them. So I'm just going to take it slowly and get them through the story, eventually, rather than like right away. Yeah, I've also been doing some French client stuff as well. Usually in the evenings, if everything's going well time-wise, then I will jump on in the French client and melt my brain for a while, trying to translate everything. It's going a little bit better. Like translation seems to be coming a little more easily and a little more naturally. But I wish it's like I definitely wish I had the gift of tongues. I don't have that really in any way. But I'm still having fun. I'm still learning, so it's all good. All right, and that'll bring us
to you.
Well, thanks.
I love that idea. I hope you wake up one day and you're like, Neo, I know French.
I know Kung Fu and French. S'il vous plaît.
Che Kung Fu.
Whoa. Or in French, whoa.
Chakra bleu.
And also a scheduling note. Kitty and I, the next episode out, we both have things going on in our lives, and we can't really shift it either. A few days is not going to work either. We're essentially going to skip where the next episode would be. We will pick up at the next slot after that. So instead of 2 weeks out, it's essentially 4 weeks out, and then we'll be back at the normal 2-week pace. So what is that? June 7th will be the next episode after this instead of the 24th. So, life kind of gets in the way sometimes. Not always in a bad way, and but we look forward to seeing you again then. And let's see. So that does get us to the tip of the week. So I had a little tip. This is sort of from doing this sort of pacifist healing thing. So if you're leveling and want the most influence and companion talk from conversations, but the companion isn't the best for the type of fighting that you do. For example, if I'm on a melee character, I hate having a melee companion come in with me, because then we're taking AoE damage together. We're taking AoE stun bombs together. I find that very irritating. And so if I'm melee, I like to have a ranged companion and vice versa. So what you can do, and I've never done this before, but it's working fine on these pacifist healers. I just like the one that I want to have gain influence on for like class story. Just don't send them out on a crew skill. Just don't do that. Bring out your damage companion, Shea Vizsla or DRED or whatever dual wielding companion you have from whatever source, and just bring out the class companion during the conversations. That's where most of the interaction comes from. Sometimes when you go to a new area, your companion might say something, and if they're not out, they won't be able to say that. So, but for the most part, most of the interaction is during conversations, and basically all of the influence points are from the conversation choices. And so when you turn in a mission, it'll usually say, influence gain, Kaizen Fest, 700 points or whatever. But that's because you had them out during that conversation. Doesn't matter what you do during the fights. So fight with whatever you want. Bring out Kaizen Fest or whoever you want to, whoever's not necessarily your best companion for fighting, but you want to have them around for the conversation. And it works. It works great. That's what I've been doing. Do yeah. I've never done that before. It's like
it's a lot of work.
Never thought of it. Yeah, it's not too bad. You do have to go into the. I wish I tried. I was like, ooh, can I drag the companion down to the bar to to make the pull out that companion as an action? Unfortunately, that doesn't work. But yeah, and Fenzale, the season 2 companion, who basically should be available to anyone who's playing the game right now, because all you need is one level of season 2 and you get him. He's dual wield, so. There you go. Dual wield companions. We've mentioned this before on the show. They do more damage, and which is both good from a damage or tanking point of view. I don't know if it really matters from a healing point of view. I think they will still do more damage because even healing companions do damage, but just obviously a lot less. But yeah, Fenzale is a dual-wield companion, so you can definitely do that.
Zoom is also a dual wielder.
Yes, Zio. Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah,
and she's the best healing companion in the game because we've talked about that too. She has some unusual interactions. One of her channel ability is more powerful, although it has a longer cooldown, and she also has a hidden AoE heal as well.
Yeah.
Yay! Yeah, she's awesome, and she's hilarious.
Yeah, she is.
And you have a tip as well, Kitty.
I do. I was rooting around on the YouTubes as I do and have to do all the time, and I came across this a page called Central Network, and it is 100 tips for SWTOR, and I'm going to put it in chat.
Okay.
So it's in chat, and I was just kind of going through it. He does a really good job of going through and just, he doesn't lag around on anything. He just tip, then tip, then tip. Does a good job of explaining and stuff. And a bunch of the stuff that he went over, I went, oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. So I thought, I'll put that link in there. I'm sure the link will be in the show notes as well.
It is.
And check it out for anything, just a reminder on a bunch of stuff.
Nice.
You might have forgotten.
And Smooth Wolf is letting us know that Central Network is run by Sam and Peter the Cellcath. We know a little bit about Peter Cellcath. Yeah, we've seen them stream and so on. I think is what I remember. All right, so there we go. If you have a tip of the week, send your tips to OotiniCast@gmail.com before the next show, in this case 4 weeks out, for a chance to win a Tonfon M83R droid pet code or an M2B9 droid code, courtesy of BioWare, plus an OotiniCast provided ultimate pack. And did you have something, Kitty?
Nope.
Oh, okay, great. Then we move on to the Mind Trap, and on the last episode, since I was running solo, I didn't feel it would be a good discussion for me to just blah, blah, blah about the Mind Trap on my own. I always like to have you to bounce things off of, Kitty, so we're going to do both of them today. So yeah, and they're connected anyway, so it's all good. The first one was, which Empire side companion do you think is the most evil? The options, which we talked about a fair bit, to talk about, is a little more discussion on the Empire side. The Republic one, we can talk about when we get there, but it felt like there was less of an evil selection there. But anyway, on the Empire side, we had Skadge, Dark side Jace Wilson, Cleo Janus, or other. And we had 333 votes and a bunch of retweets, so thank you everyone who retweeted. The winner going away with 53% of the vote was Dark Jace Wilson. Not
AKA
bad.
Crazy Jason.
And I've seen her pretty recently, but I've seen Skadge as well, and Skadge was my vote. I think Skadge is, what can we say? The first time you see him, he's going to he's going to torture and kill a woman, and a helpless woman who's that wants nothing but just to get away from him. It's really nasty.
He has no redeemable social qualities at all.
Right.
None. He is what Biff Tannen is to the Back to the Future franchise. If he met himself, he'd be a dick to himself.
Right. Right, exactly. Yeah, he is, that's pretty wild. But, hey, it's on the other hand, Jace Wilson, when she goes dark side, she goes really dark side. She is all in.
Oh, she's all in.
It's kind of like what they say about someone who converts to a religion. They're more of that religion than anyone who was born into that religion. Right. They say, if you convert to a Catholic, a converted Catholic is really Catholic. For whatever reason, whether it's just to really feel, like they belong or whatever, but
making up for lost time,
whatever. But yeah, Jace is converted, and she converts all the way. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cleo Janus, however, anarchist, straight up murderer. A lot of the times,
terrorist.
Once we get to Zakul, I can't blame anyone who voted for Cleo either. So let's see. The argument could be made for Pierce, and some people did sort of confirm that, or that they agree with Pierce as well. Mostly because of the one part in the conversation where there's a woman who used to be with him in the Black Ops squadron that he was on, and then she sort of like slept her way to a new job essentially.
Right.
And then in your conversations, he basically has her sleep with another guy to get some information and to get some things going for the operation as well.
The old
which is pretty yeah. And I could see where that like would send a cold chill right up your spine. So there you go. And I agree. And then some other people said Kim Val, fair enough. Eats Force users, has lived hundreds of years. You could go with that. Quinn. Some people said Quinn, although I think that's mostly just because of that one scene. We won't break the
no spoilers.
No spoilers. It's basically one thing that happens during the class story on Quinn. I think if that one scene didn't happen, he would be like a lot more people's favorite companion, because he's like,
I think so too.
He's the romance. He's your romance if you're a female, and he's one of the earliest ones you get, and he's he's very by the book, but he also like looks up to you for the most part, especially when you first join him. He's like he really looks up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. So there you go. Let's see. And so there we go. Oh, I didn't really go over the numbers properly. Dark Jason Wilson did win, going away 53% of the vote. Skadge was second, 22.5% of the vote. Cleo, 18.9% of the vote. And then 5.4% said other. So yeah, not too bad. And I'm kind of glad that, because we were actually considering Scorpio as well, but really no one said Scorpio. Like there wasn't a lot of like, well, there's one person that said Scorpio maybe, and that's literally all they said. But there wasn't a lot of like people up in arms like, where the hell is Scorpio? the one who's like willing to take over the entire it's a cool empire and sell you out, so and have you fight against Arkin just to wipe both of you out and all that stuff. I mean, you could make an argument for Scorpio too.
Yeah.
But one person.
Chill and I had a conversation about it too, and we decided not to put Scorpio in, but I don't remember why, but we had a good reason anyway.
Yeah.
Kind of
for me, it's a couple of reasons. It's like it kind of comes down to, for me, like. She's also been enslaved basically all of her like hundreds and hundreds of years of life of existence, and it just feels a little weird to put that on her, especially since she's also a droid, or at least an artificial life form. Anyway, also one other person said Brunmark, a literal psychopath, still don't understand why he joins your crew.
I know.
If you don't give him enough people to murder, he will surely murder your crew instead. Yeah, fair point.
I don't know why he doesn't get locked up on the ship. Like letting him wander around freely seems dangerous.
Boy Scout says Scorpio is creepy. Yes, definitely. There's definitely like, and there's something very sort of amoral about her. Like she's not evil in the sense that she's. Amorality is a form of evil, but it's like she's so removed from empathy that like it becomes there's something very alien about her. By the way, great writing and great voice acting for Scorpio, by the way. All right, so let's go. Continue on to the Republic one. Not as many votes for this one. I don't know. I guess the Republic. No one's interested in the evil Republic companions. Right. I guess, but hey, it's all good. The options were Tenno Vic, Lord Scourge, and Zenith, and we had a hard time even really getting it to the third one.
Right.
I knew I wanted Tanovic on there, and I knew I wanted Lord Scourge on there. The third one, I had to really think, and then it's like, you know what? I remember Zenith, and it's like, Zenith is like willing to do
He's a
almost
cold-hearted
anything
killer.
to kill Empire people. Like,
You're a cold-hearted
he's so anti-Empire that he becomes completely cold-blooded about it. Anyway, so Tanovic was the winner with 51.6% of the vote. Scourge with 35.5%, and Zenith 11.3%. Fair enough, and only 1.6% other. And I could agree with this. I mean, Tanovic is he's basically like a step below Skadge in my book. Like, Skadge is a little more evil because Skadge also really wants to hurt people while he's doing all the crimes. Tanovic does want to do all the crimes, but Skadge wants to do all the crimes and hurt people while he's doing them. Like,
I have a soft spot for Tanovic, and I don't know what it is. Like, I can't.
great voice acting
pinpoint-
again. I don't know. Maybe
Like,
it's
maybe
sort of like,
that's it.
you know, a charismatic voice. You know, like there's a lot of movies out there that's like the main characters have become, you know, like, you know, are held up as heroes, but it's like,
Right.
do you know, it's like, should you really
Bad
be
guy who
right?
killed everybody.
Yeah, I mean, have you really thought about Fight Club? Like, I know Brad Pitt's really handsome and charismatic in that movie, but have you thought about what the movie's about and like what themes it's going for? Anyway, and Tanovic is very charismatic in a way too. Lord Scourge, I could see why, you know, he's obviously dark side. He's extremely dark side, and he is never budges from that at all, which I kind of admire.
I do too.
Like, when you're talking to him, it's like no matter what you say, he's not budging from his position that the dark side is the right side to be on. And but on the other hand, like he does do some things that are sort of, you know, he obviously against the Emperor, for example. So it's like he does have a code or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
He's got an honor.
The funny thing is, like, not a lot of people responded to the Republic one either, but one of them said Skadge, which is funny because Skadge is on the Empire side. It's like, that's how nasty Skadge is. He got one vote on the Republic poll. So.
I like I like having Skadge as a companion just because everything he says is so awful that I'm just like, I love a character that is unforgivingly mean and cruel, you know, not budging, just like you were talking about with Scourge. But it seems that Skadge does it from a very elementary point of view. You know, I don't think he's very educated.
Right. Yeah.
killing stuff.
Right. Yeah. He talks about how he sort of comes up from the streets, and you know, I had to fight for every last thing I got, and he is that sort of character. Anyway, so yeah, that was pretty fun. You know, I still enjoy it. I don't know, given the fact of like what the giant drop off was from Empire to Republic, I can't even imagine if we should even do like what do you consider the best or the most good character, companion character. It's like, who would?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think you're right.
I'm not sure. Yeah, it's like,
You just throw some in there.
yeah,
Just
throw them in there.
2 from each side.
We'd have to do like 3 polls on the Republic side probably, but yeah. Yeah, Kitty Teresa says T7, which is not a bad choice. And Starry says 4X on the Trooper is another companion that could be considered very dark side, which I could agree. He's like a super patriot, which he definitely takes it to the point where he's actively looking to assassinate Sith, basically.
Right.
So
He's
there
like
you go.
A robot Chuck Norris.
Yeah. Yeah, with another great voice, by the way, another sort of charismatic, because he makes me smile every time he talks, because it's like, here we go. Yes.
I killed 4 more imps today.
He's one we could potentially put on the Cantina Talk for sure as well, which actually is the next segment, the Cantina Talk. So this is a new segment. Occasionally, it's sort of occasional. We don't necessarily do it every episode, where we pick out a voice actor from the literally hundreds who have voiced for SWTOR over the years. We've talked about Tara Strong, Nika Futterman, John DiMaggio, Tom Wilson, and Darren Norris before. This time, it's Lacey Chabert, and Lacey Chabert plays Mako, the first companion in the Bounty Hunter story. And interestingly, unlike most companion voice actors, Mako is practically the only role Lacey Chabert plays for SWTOR. Like, if you look at it, it's like in the original, Mako, that's it. And then Hutt Cartel, Mako, that's it. And then she has a couple of roles, I think, around Shadow of Revan, neither of which I'd really recognize except for Mako. But anyway, yeah. So, but she's done a lot of acting, especially TV roles. She was the original Meg, actually, which I thought was interesting. She was the original Meg on Family Guy for like half of a whole season. Actually, there's multiple episodes where she is Meg, and then Mila Kunis took over. I don't really know the circumstances why. But she was also Eliza Thornberry in various incarnations of the Wild Thornberries. She was Claudia in 142 episodes of Party of Five. That's a lot of episodes. She was Zeta on 44 episodes of Shimmer and Shine. She was the character Amanda in Not Another Teen Movie. And she was Zatanna in Justice League Action. But certainly her most famous role is as one of the Mean Girls, Gretchen Wieners, in the movie Mean Girls. And Mean
Girls is great.
It's such a good movie.
It is a great movie.
Yeah, most people I'm sure have seen that movie. I mean, but if you haven't, absolutely check it out. It's a real delight. Gretchen Wieners, and you can tell it's Mako. It's like it's definitely like she puts on a little bit of a voice, actually more in Mean Girls. It feels like anyway. Where she's a little squeakier and a little higher, I think, but very funny, very good, very well done movie. Tina Fey is wonderful in it, and also did was one of the writers.
Yeah,
they just that just kicks butt. So yeah, if you've ever seen Mean Girls, if you like Mean Girls, Gretchen Wieners is played by the same gal who does Mako. So there you go. That was a short one, but I always thought that was awesome. And when you listen to Mako, like, you can definitely tell it's the same actor for sure. It's great. Then we'll move on to the Holo feed. So right after the last episode, there was some Cartel Market editions for Game Update 7.0.2, and one of them was a whole bundle of sort of the reforged weapons. You can only buy them via the bundle, and it's basically some classic weapons that people really liked, and then it's basically sort of an updated version of them. They're slightly different. Some people have actually done some pretty good videos on YouTube of like comparing the actual original weapons with the reforged ones. They're very, very similar looking, but with slight differences, and sounds in some cases slightly changed as well. The other one is that sort of has shown up a little bit I've noticed, like, mostly on Twitter feeds and stuff like that, is Valkorian's Royal Armor set. Valkorian has a very distinctive armor, and it's never been available as a character armor in the game until now. And it's called Valkorian's Royal Armor set. And it looks pretty cool, and I like how they chose like a Zabrak, just to separate it from the actual Valkorian character, to show you what it would look like, and someone who's not just Valkorian or Valkorian, adjacent. So that was pretty cool. There's a couple other ones. There's the B-44 Marshall mount. I saw Sworderista's video on this one. Sort of odd, but it's kind of cool too. It's like has little sections that sort of spin and turn and stuff like that. Look kind of interesting.
I love it.
Yeah,
it's loud. It's really loud.
Is it? I haven't. I couldn't really tell in the video. I mean, she was kind of talking through most of the time that it was running around, but I'll take your word for it. Is it loud when it's running, or when you're doing like the?
It's loud when you're driving it.
When you're driving, okay.
Yeah.
Not when you're doing like the beep, 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 and having it spin and stuff.
No.
Okay.
No, it's just sometimes you'll get the odd mount that's just so loud it's not fun to play, because you're like, I'm sick of listening to this thing.
Yeah.
But I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, I agree. It's a very unusual mount too. It's like it doesn't look like anything else in the game for sure. Like, and nor does it really look like. I mean, you can kind of tell it's still Star Warsy and SWTOR-y specifically. Like, there's certain
for sure.
elements that like the way that they use color, the way they use armor plate or plates of metal on it and stuff like that. I mean, you can definitely tell it's a SWTOR mount, but it doesn't look like anything else that I can think of, really.
It has a flourish, but it's not very spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes the jets
intensify. The jets go intensify on the back. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah.
The need for speed.
Yeah, for me, I don't mind so much if it's loud, but if it has a high-pitched whine in it, I can't use a speeder. Like, there's certain... I have, like, this unlocked pod racer speeder that I can have on every character because it was... I don't know. I can't remember exactly which one it was. I think it was a sub-benefit, like, 8 years ago or something. Mm-hmm. But it has a high-pitched whine when you're running it, and I just cannot use it. No, thank you. Thank you. That's enough.
It's like Ugnots.
Yeah.
I have to spacebar through Ugnot because I can't.
You can't have
impedance is too high.
The grunge. The baby progenitor feeding tank decoration is kind of amazing. So, it's awesome. Yeah. Look up the videos on this. SWTORista has one, and I think there's a couple others out there. Baby progenitor feeding tank decoration. Yeah, basically, like, it's a little Jurassic Worldy. It's a little, there's basically a water tank in there, and a giant animal comes up and noms things out of it. It's kind of amazing.
It's reminiscent of season 2 of The Mandalorian when he was on that boat and they threw the baby Yoda in there and he had to dive in.
Okay.
Reminds me of that.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say when that one water creature like came up and tried to bite his ship.
Oh, the walrus.
Yeah, that was like, and that wasn't season 2. That was like early season 1, I think. Yeah. But so that one's pretty cool too. Anyway, baby progenitor feeding tank deco is really fun. It has the video on it is pretty amazing. That's what Teresa did too.
Yeah.
All right. Events for May. Pirate Incursion just finished, so that one's done. We just had it. We also had double XP for the last week, and the 50% sale on unlocks, which we did mention during our week, was available. Also, that's also done now. So that's all gone. The 50% sale wasn't really. They didn't really let us know it was happening ahead of time. It just sort of happened. It just sort of came.
They dropped it.
They did announce it when it happened, but they didn't give us like time to get ready for it or anything. And and it's been and gone. But they'll have another one eventually. And I agree with you, Kitty. It probably is going to be the end of the year. That's pretty typical. Mm-hmm. All right. So after Pirate one, the next one is Bounty Contract Week. That's going to be the 17th through the 24th. So that's coming up in 1 week. That's your typical Bounty Contract Week. These don't change too much. The All World's Ultimate Swoop Rally is from May 31st to June 7th. And that's always fun. Although I wish I did that one more. I just don't do that one very much. But
me too.
It's very cool, and it's like it's kind of amazing that it's in the game at all. So yeah, there you go. And the 10-year anniversary is still running. That just goes through January 2023 sometime. And let's see, and what else we got? They did put up this SWTOR Galactic Season objectives for the next month or so, from May 3rd to June 7th. So last week, all the way through the first week of June. And, they have it on SWTOR.com, but if you want, it's also in the show notes.
I have been trickling my way through Galactic Season at my own very slow pace. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting close to the end.
So am I.
I haven't been trying at all, and I'm trying to slow down because I don't want it to end, because then I'm not going to be able to play it.
Right. Then Then there's it kind of takes away certain things. That's like, oh, that was nice to get, stuff like that.
Yeah, it was fun.
I'm actually really close to the end of Reputation for the Shadow Syndicate, mm-hmm. that we're getting all the Shadow Syndicate plans for. Right. And I think what I'm going to do is, what I have been doing, this is almost, maybe I should have put it on the tip of the week, but what I've been doing is, like, if there's a weekly for gaining the Reputation, I do that. I make sure to do that, mm-hmm. After that, I do one. I just turn in one plan. because that way I can stretch this out. Because I'm like halfway through the last reputation. Once it's maxed out, I can't gain reputation, which will help me with my conquest.
Holy crap, that's a great, yeah.
So I'm slowing down on purpose to keep my conquest going.
Oh,
yeah.
Boy.
Yep.
Yeah, because
You're getting
I'm
close to the end too?
Yeah.
So what you do is you just slow down, make sure you get the weekly one, which is 1,000 points. It's basically like one, I think it's like 2 purples, or not even 2 purples, and you're there.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the time, just turn in one, get a blue one, and just do it, and just take it as slowly as possible.
And you could hold on to those things.
And you can hold on to them.
You don't need to blast them.
When you get the reputation, it does go in inventory. You don't have to click on them right away, unlike certain other reputations where it's sort of, as soon as you pick it up, you're bling, it does it automatically. Right. And the good thing about that is also, like, I can, if I'm close to capping out, I can just buy a bunch of purple ones but not actually use them. And then if I, at some point, I'll probably just start vendoring them, but I'm not going to do that quite yet. But yeah. So another tip. All right. The May the 4th celebration also just ended. The timing is really awkward because some of these things like sort of came out and they just finished. But anyway, so the orange P1 XL droid, I did a little tweet about it when it came out, and a lot of people seem to like it. The droid's boxy chassis and high visibility paint ensures you'll never lose sight of him as he follows along in your many adventures. I actually do like this pet too a lot.
I do too.
It's pretty clearly like it's either the same assets or similar assets to the one from the Malgus chamber speeder that you could have gotten at the beginning of 7.0 with that one bundle that you bought. And
dropping
right, exactly, where you do the flare, it opens up, this little squarish droid comes out and kind of boop bloop bloop boop, it has a little camera and stuff. And that little camera droid that comes out from behind the Malgus mount is very, very similar, though not exactly identical to P1XL. Well, first of all, the color is different, but there's also certain like differences in how it looks, like how the camera looks and the lights on the side and stuff like that. I mean, they definitely didn't, they didn't like cut and paste by any means, but it's clearly like based on that same idea.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of Chopper from Rebels. He has like a little chopper arm.
Yeah,
that comes out. He's the same color, and he has a similar kind of.
His voice is a little choppery too. Yeah, it's not quite like Chopper, but it's in the same ballpark. Yeah, I agree. Let's see, and then pay 2 additional benefits, and then we're running the 50% off collection sale alongside the double XP event. So, yep, as long as you logged in on any character between May 3rd and May 10th, then it will unlock that for all your characters, and then you can just go to every character that you have or any future characters, and it'll be in their mail as well. Unfortunately, it's now gone, so if you haven't, unfortunately, that's too late. But anyway. Yep. Oh, well. 7.0.2a patch notes, because we had 7.0.2 drop, but then there's 7.0.2a. There are basically a few bugs that were pretty important that got fixed. So bosses are now correctly targeting intended targets in operations. Not sure exactly what that's about, but that sounds important.
Yeah. That sounds really important.
Right. This error we talked about on the last show. A pop-up error message is now correctly displayed on the character creation page when the name is unavailable. What was happening is people were making characters. They would hit play. Nothing was happening. They weren't sure what was going on. It turns out the reason was the name was already in use, but the usual warning that happens when you do that wasn't happening, and now they've fixed that. So there you go. And the panel for the Hypercrate Ultimate Cartel Packs now correctly shows that it comes with 30 packs instead of 10, and I can see why they would want to fix that right away, because that's the sort of thing where like they're going to get calls and like, it says 10. I don't know if I open it, will I only get 10? You know what I mean? Like, right. It's just gonna clog their phone lines. That's why they're trying to let people know, hey, it actually still gives 30. But
not to mention, they want to make that money.
Yeah, exactly. Update to the level sync post from the last show. There's a whole level sync update, and then there's a little bit more that they're hoping to let us know about 7.0.2. Companions should no longer miss taunts or heals and should be performing better overall. So far, I've noticed that that's true.
Yeah.
For sure. Players with gear over 326 in PvP war zones and arenas no longer have a stat advantage, as their stats are now properly synced to 326. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Working as intended, the base presence stat scales when level synced, but no bonus presence scales. Bonus presence includes all presence gained through higher influence with companions, legacy unlocks, and datacrons. This can be observed in the details button on the character sheet. So you have a base presence and then you have a bunch of extra one. The extra stuff doesn't scale. Not sure exactly how that's working in the game, but apparently they've checked it out and it's working as intended. There you go. It definitely feels when I've been doing some of these characters, that I've been leveling, especially like the pacifist characters where all the damage is being done by the companions. It's like I definitely notice a big difference in influence level. So I think something about how the presence is working. It's like if you have influence, it really helps, and for whatever reason, it definitely feels a lot weaker if they don't have a lot of influence. And I mean that's supposed to happen to some degree anyway. That's how influence is supposed to work, but it feels a little more extreme right now.
I know something seems a little wonky. I not only kept getting my level 50 companion killed in story mode, but also my Jesus droid was getting killed. So I don't know.
Was that before O2A came out?
It was like 2 days ago.
Okay.
So I don't know.
So it's been out.
User error. I'm not exactly sure.
Problem exists between keyboard and chair.
Yeah. I always assume that first.
Right. Fair enough. In a future update, Chris Schmidt continues, maintaining accuracy and additional stats to be determined will be maintained in level sync content, which is nice because you don't really want accuracy bouncing around. Like if you have maximum accuracy at level 80, it really would suck if you get level sync down and all of a sudden, you're 4% below on your accuracy, or whatever. Relic bonus stats when activated or triggered on their own, applying in level synced content. Yeah. And augments and color crystal stats applying properly in level synced content. So yeah. Yep. Those are all good. So it's good to know that they're working on them. And
those are big ones.
They add up. They for sure add up. In my original post, I wrote out specifically what would be in 7.0.2 to set player expectations. When future update is mentioned, it means the work is in active development, but a specific patch has not been identified for a rollout. When the work is closer to completion, we're ready to deploy that content. It is at that time we will communicate the patch number. So that's why they're saying in a future update for the augments, the relic bonuses, and maintaining accuracy and certain other stats to be determined. Outside of those things identified above, you should not expect any major changes to level sync system until we communicate otherwise. Other related aspects, such as individual content difficulty and tuning, we will continue to address with each patch. So, in other words, there may be things that are sort of outside of level syncing, but they're just going to sort of tune the difficulty in other ways. So that's good. All right. There's been several notifications on the forums about people having troubles doing dot spread, AoE dot spread not working since operation. So yeah, and then they did some hot fixes to sort of fix it. Apparently it was working. This was happening mostly in an operation, not elsewhere. So I guess basically like maybe like if you had a bunch of ads and then you were trying to spread the dots, it was like they were immune to the dot spread for whatever reason, which isn't what was intended. It definitely would mean it would be a lot harder to be a dot spec in that operation for sure. Right. No rested XP earned while logged out, and this is, I can confirm, I've been noticing on my characters.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it happened before the double XP, and of course double XP week you don't notice it because rest kind of goes away. It's ignored essentially. You can't gain it, but you can't use it either during double XP. Now it should be back to normal. As far as I know, though, this part has not been fixed, and rested XP is only gained while you're logged in, which is unfortunate because that's not really the point of rested XP. You're not supposed to, be forced to stay in a cantina with your character or on your stronghold with your character, but logged in. That's not how it's supposed to work. So that is something is on the known issues list.
That would be unrested XP.
Yeah, exactly. Thumb twiddling XP gained.
Man, this is boring.
All right. Eric Musco did a whole post on SWTOR at Star Wars Celebration 22, which is really cool. That is coming up in a few weeks. And Kitty, you look happy.
I can't wait for Celebration.
Yeah.
Even though I'm going to have to be there vicariously through what other people are showing on
exactly
on the internet and stuff. It's still great. I like it.
Yeah, it's always amazing, and Eric Musco is good enough to write a little bit about how would he put it as now is the perfect time to talk to you about what you can expect from us at the 2022 event. In previous years, we've done everything from panels to a booth floor presence and, of course, our Cantina event. And this year, we'll provide attending guests with more exciting opportunities to dive into. We hope you're ready to embark on a journey throughout this year's celebration because there are going to be a number of places you can find us. In lieu of a cantina, we will be joining the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes team at their booth with daily opportunities for folks to have time to chat with the SWTOR dev team. That's really cool, including really cool. Charles Boyd, awesome, the head honcho pretty much, Ashley Rule, Jackie Coe, head of the the communications team, it's not quite the right word, but sorry, Jackie, and Fred Newman. This is really excellent. These opportunities will include a poster signing, a chat about our collaborations with our friends on the Galaxy team to bring Malgus into Galaxy of Heroes.
That's right, that's happening.
Yeah. Are you a Galaxy of Heroes player, Kitty?
No,
I haven't played it in a long time. It was it was pretty well done for what it was, and I might get back into it. It was pretty fun, and I haven't done it for a while though. Inside of the Celebration guidebook, you'll be able to find an interview about Legacy of the Sith, along with what 10 years of SWTOR has been like for the team, with myself, Charles, and Keith. Charles will also be appearing as a guest speaker on the Crash Course into the Old Republic panel. So that's pretty cool. So it's going to be on Thursday, May 26th. Man, this is coming up close.
Oh boy, it's going to be here quick.
Yeah. From 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. On the university stage. And the info: thousands of years before the Skywalker name was known throughout the galaxy, there were the incredibly powerful Rakata, a massive Sith empire, Mandalorian fleets pushing the Republic to the brink, ancient superweapons, and the redemption of one of the most infamous figures in Star Wars, Revan. Join our panelists for a crash course on the Old Republic and its historical significance, what makes it so appealing, as well as a chance to pick our experts' brains. Stick around for discussions from both cosplayers of the Old Republic and the gaming-focused SWTOR fan community.
That sounds great.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. I'm hoping there's tons of pictures. I can't wait to see, the cosplayers who are there. Yeah.
SWTORista did a lot at last Celebration.
Oh my gosh, yeah, she was huge there.
Yeah, she did a lot.
I haven't heard yet what she's planning on this time. I think she is planning on going.
She's going.
I think she's. I know. I'm almost sure I've heard that she's going, but exactly what's going to happen there, I'm not sure. She's in the press thing, right? Yeah. She mentioned she got the press
which is
pass,
awesome.
Which is
Good
way
for
cool.
You,
and it makes sense too. I mean, that's what she does. So it's cool.
I'll be tuning into her social media and her Twitch live stream stuff to see what she's got, because I'm sure she's gonna be like on top of it as usual.
Yep. Let's see. Stay tuned. Eric continues. As schedules are still being finalized, we'll keep this thread updated with specifics as they become available. If you are out and about and happen to spot a SWTOR dev wearing a shirt with the SWTOR logo on it, say hi. Very cool. All right. And there's a couple other little bug notifications. 7.0 anniversary vendor does not allow sales of the paint job for the correct faction. What is happening is the vendor is trying to sell based on combat styles instead of faction, so it hasn't been sort of swapped over to the 7.0 essentially. So yeah, so on the other hand, if you have a combat style of both factions, then you can fix that by swapping your combat style, I presume, or at least you can try that out. But it is a known issue. Let's see. Players on Dantooine aren't getting their level shifted to the mobs on the Dantooine Pirate Incursion event. That event is now finished for now, but hopefully they do know about it, so hopefully they can look at that before the next time it comes. And let's see. And one other thing that's happening, and I don't... there were several instances of it. It hasn't happened to me, but apparently some people are crashing randomly, and they're trying to figure out exactly why that's happening for certain people. It doesn't seem to be happening to everyone, but some people are just sort of getting very random crashes right out of the client, and then or presumably out of the client, although they're asking for more details as well. So if this is happening to you, if you look at the forums, they are like asking for help figuring out exactly what's going on, what sort of crash it is, are you using Steam or the regular or the old updater, and some other questions as well. So they are definitely looking to track that one down. There we go, and we're caught up with the news, but we'll go to the force feedback. And Smooth Wolf, who was in the chat but is now lurking, wrote, he said, "Greetings, OotiniCast, DL Smooth Wolf here, coming at you live from Zakul, Edison, wherever." This is... well, he says tip of the week, but this is really more of a conversation. So he's asking about Space Barbie. So what do you do as a community look for? What do you look for in that department? Is it more aesthetic to the different planets, or a personal outlook on the players and companions? Or do you just cry havoc and let slip the dogs of fashion? And I know we haven't met in person yet, but I want to say thank you for everything you've done since I joined Ootini. Sorry if I was introspective or reclusive the last few months, but personal loss of family and continued COVID pandemic has really, well, I don't want to finish that sentence. Yeah, sorry, Smooth Wolf. It's been rough.
Yeah, it sucks.
I will always continue to support and respect you guys and gals as a second family. You've touched my heart in more ways than you can imagine. And sincerely, Smooth Wolf. And P.S. Will DL Smooth Wolf amaze and surprise everyone when he reveals his first ever Space Barbie? Find out next time. So, Kitty, how do you like to handle your Space Barbie, and what sort of factors go into your choice of an outfit?
Wow, there's a lot of variables that happen. One of them is, of course, the guidelines to Space Barbie, which is the first and is look fabulous. Second is it appropriate to what your character would have? And is it appropriate for the environment that they're in?
Right. For you, that's part of the hardcore thing, is like going to Hoth and having a warm weather outfit that doesn't show skin.
Exactly. Or a story, that'll make sense. Like maybe the Force is keeping me warm.
Right.
But I don't know. I just kind of hodgepodge stuff together and see what looks cool. And I think sometimes, not wanting to look the part of, like, for instance, Kitty Treats, she has a Sith lightning sork that doesn't look anything like a lightning sork. She looks more like probably I want to say a smuggler.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't use a lightsaber, because in her head canon, the character is trying to be on the DL.
Okay.
But so I think it's whatever your fancy is. Let your freak flag fly. Whatever. Yeah. Whatever you want. Just don't hold back if it's something you want to do.
Right.
Don't worry about people judging you.
Yeah.
Have fun.
For me, when I'm doing a cosplay character, I'm usually honing in on one look for that character. Like, there are characters I've made multiple looks for, but for the most part, I'm like trying to find the look that I consider the most accurate. Whether or in some cases it's sort of a mix. It's like it's accurate, but it's sort of accurate to the movies and sort of accurate to the comic books or whatever. So that's one thing. And on these pacifist healer characters, they're not cosplays. They're just characters. So I've gone back, and it's been kind of nice because I've actually been free to just give them different looks. And so for this one, I have been just finding things that I think look cool, that sort of fit the character as I envision them. Yeah, and I would say, like, I don't know how much DL Smoothwolf has unlocked in terms of, outfits and sort of thing. But one thing that you can do is, and I know everyone's going to get at least some, like, dyes, for example, from the daily logins, and, there's certain other ones that are pretty reasonable to get from vendors and stuff, or on the GTN, because the crafted ones on the GTN are reasonable-ish.
Can be.
Right. And so what you can do is, like, if you find an outfit, sometimes checking the dyes really, like, brings out the outfit for me. Like, the outfit I'm using on the character who is a sorcerer in terms of abilities, but is a Jedi. I have her in one of those Jedi tops, but so it's sort of brown naturally, and then I dyed it black and red, and it just really looks awesome now, and it completely changes how it looks. Yeah. And it's amazing how you can, like, sometimes even, like, the little things really make a difference. So, like, an outfit will look, like, too chunky or whatever, and I'll find, like, just the right belt that, like, kind of smooths things out, and it's like, hey, that looks way better now. And I'll change my mind on stuff too. It's like, I've been playing this, and this, like, the boots just aren't working for me, and then it's like, okay, I find a different boot, and it's like, hey, that's more like it. Yeah.
There's been times when I've gotten a character, dressed them up, and just couldn't find anything that I felt looked good enough for that character, and deleted it. It's like, I'm just going to start over. Have you ever done that?
You mean to the whole character or just the outfit?
Yeah, I wiped the whole character. I was like, nope.
Oh, okay.
It's not working. This was much early on when I didn't have as much unlocked.
Yeah. Well, when I'm doing in cosplays, what I've noticed, like, is if I'm not happy with the character's look and I can't fix it, like, there's no way to get it right, eventually I just sort of drop that character and I just start with someone else.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, for me, a couple of those would include Drax, because, like, he looks pretty accurate to Drax, except there's no way to get the tattoos below the face, like, onto the chest. And so he just doesn't look very much like Drax because of that. Like, I have the whole shirtless look. I have the right pants on him. The Mary Ellen coloring is right, and so on. But without them going onto the chest at all, and no way to add scarification on the chest or anything like that. Right. Yeah, it just isn't working, and so I dropped him. Similar with. Well, actually, ironically, from Guardians, I tried a Rocket Raccoon as a Cathar, and it almost worked, but it just wasn't close enough. And it's like, after a while, it's like, yeah, I don't like this.
Isn't that weird how it'll eat at you too?
It will, totally.
You'll be like, man, I want this to work. I'm going to give it a try. And
yep, I totally worked on it.
Yep.
And changed his outfit, and he's got the big gun, big high-tech gun, just like Rocket, but it just wasn't enough. And yeah, I don't think I even got Rocket all the way through. Like, I think he got him through the class story, and I was like, okay, that's enough, and I moved on. But
I would love if they had, like, a smaller type of character that you could play.
Yeah, and that's why I was really careful about, like, Corbin and Lilu from Fifth Element, because making them my mains, because I wanted to make sure I had looks for them that I would be happy with. Because like in 6.0 and even a little before that, I had the Wonder Woman, and it is just, I am so happy with her look. Like,
she looks great.
She absolutely, like, really looks like Wonder Woman. It's amazing. And then
it also makes it easy to follow you when we're raiding.
Yeah,
the
bright,
tank.
Yeah, exactly. The bright blue pants and the bright red top.
You don't have to put an indicator on top of you. You're like, there's chill.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So with Corbin, I have the bleachy white, shortish, cropped hair, and he's got the orange T-shirt. And and Lilu has. There's no such thing as, like, there's no orange suspendery look in the game, but everything else is pretty much dead on. I'm pretty happy with her as well. And you have to be happy. Eventually, you have to be happy with your look, whether you're doing cosplay or not. It's like the nice thing about doing a non-cosplay is, hopefully you can just kind of figure out a different look for your character, not just start over from scratch.
Right.
Yeah, it's also one of the other nice things about not doing cosplay characters for me the last couple times has been doing species that don't cosplay very well, because when I'm doing cosplays, it's human, occasional cybernetic person, occasional Mary Ellen or Chiss because of blue or green skin color or red skin color and doing a Sith or whatever. But I don't get to do, so one's a Zabrak, which I hardly ever do a Zabrak, and one's a Twi'lek. And I like Twi'leks, but I haven't done them for a long time, because if you're cosplaying, you're never going to do a Twi'lek unless you're actually doing a Star Wars cosplay. And it's funny, I never do Star Wars cosplays. I was thinking it's like cheating. It's like, we're doing a Star Wars game, of course I can do a Han Solo or a Luke or an Anakin or whatever.
Too easy.
Yeah, exactly. So, I've got to do something outside of the IP. Soto Boy says I should do Mork from Orc. That would be awesome.
That would be funny.
He would definitely be a Force user of some kind. I would say maybe a telekinetic sage or something.
Yeah. He's pacifist too, right?
Yeah. He would be probably. I don't know.
I wonder, do they have anything with like a giant upside down triangle?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, yeah, like the space outfit as opposed to his rainbow suspender, human look.
Yeah.
Like I said, I haven't been able to find any suspender looks for Lilu at all, so I just go with the rest of the outfit, which is basically a white T-shirt and sort of the funky yellow pants with the black lines going down them.
We did find suspenders, but they're not like on; they're like hanging.
Oh yeah, you can do that, right? Yeah, like the relaxed jumpsuit one, that sort of thing. Yeah, yeah, and I would say and also just keep your eye out, because if you're newer to the game, you don't have a lot of unlocks. Smooth Wolf, there's still a ton of looks out there in the game. On the fleets, there's level 10, or I think it's actually 8. The vendors that sell all the different kinds of modifiable armor, but there's tons of looks there, because you can actually wear pretty much anything except for the wrong weapon, the wrong offhand. But for the most part, everything else is pretty much you can mix and match. It really doesn't matter if you want to have a smugglery looking trooper or whatever. It's pretty easy to get that by going onto the fleet and checking those out. Lots of, and the nice thing about the mod vendor on the fleet is not only is it low level and it's relatively inexpensive and all that sort of thing, but they're very classic looks.
They are.
The Sith sorcerer is a black robe with a little bit of red, and the smuggler one is a smuggler look, and the trooper one is heavy armor, and it's like so if you want something that's really classic, it's that's a really good place to start. Yeah, and also the nice thing about simple items like that is they translate well, the ones with the huge shoulder spikes and stuff like that. It's that's a look, and if you don't want the giant shoulder spikes, you can't get around that. You're wearing something else, you know what I mean? Or if the belt, it has tons of pouches and stuff on it, that's a pouch look. And but if you want a more simple one, if you want one that just looks like a belt, then you can't use that one. You can't use the one that has the big canisters off the side and whatever.
Right. Another great thing about that adaptive gear is that if you get a really good dye pack, like a black dye pack, pop it on there, you can just put that in your cargo hold, your legacy cargo hold, and you can use it on other characters.
Right.
Which is really, really cool.
Yep, and the Cartel Bazaar is another good place. A lot of them do require the Cartel certificates, but you do get those as login rewards. You also can get them from the Nightlife event once a year. Yeah. That comes for usually 6 weeks or something like that. So it's a pretty long event. You can also get them from a particular slot machine that your guild might have on their ship, on the guild ship. That's sort of a pretty common thing for guilds to have. And that also will allow the one on the ship, if you don't have the reputation, it will allow you to get the reputation, because you still need reputation for those items. But those vendors have a lot of cool stuff. They have amazing
great dyes.
Some dyes. There's primary black primary, secondary black, primary red, secondary red, primary dark blue, secondary dark blue. Those 6 alone will like change your looks up completely. And then there's some really neat mounts and stuff too. And as long as you have a few credits and like I say, potentially a few cartel market certificates to throw around. Yeah, really good looks from there too.
Really good stuff. Yeah. Faux show.
All right. Anything else, Kitty?
I think that's it. Just that.
And when was that big stream for you gonna be?
It's going to be June 4th.
Okay, June 4th.
From 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific, we'll be doing a 12-hour stream for my 51st birthday.
Woo woo! Excellent. Yep. And just as a reminder, so we're essentially skipping the next episode. We'll be picking it up, but after that, it's going to go right back to the normal once every 2 week schedule, and we're going to go from there. So yeah, it'll actually, even though it's a little ways out, it's actually going to be before the next show. Your big stream will be. So yay! All right, then that's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Teeny Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Teal Sean server, or in our
Titty Rage
Guild on the Empire side, do a /C join Utini to join the Utini channel. Then let us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to utinicast@gmail.com. Excuse me. Follow us on Twitter using @UtiniCast. You can find contact details for us on our website, utinicast.com, which includes how to subscribe using iTunes, Stitcher, and the rest. We record the show live, usually bi-weekly on Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, streaming at twitch.tv/UtiniCast. Our theme song is Doomsday by Jean-Paul Zogby. Thank you to the chat room.
Thank you, chat.
And we'll see you next time.
Toodles.
All right, and we will find a place to do a raid here. Let me get to the raid channel.
Zam's on.
Do you see? Oh, Zam on? Okay.
Yeah.
I see her. There she is. First one. Boom. Rating in 10 seconds. And then after we do that, I'll be stopping the stream. Here we go. Let's go say hi to her.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Stopping the stream. Stopping.